Generic greetings! The Witness is essentially a puzzle game, although calling it just that is doing it a bit of a disservice. It's like saying that The Lord of the Rings is about a short guy who walks for a bit and then flings a piece of jewellery into a volcano, or that the Game of Thrones is just a big list of people who are about to die. Although, to be fair, I'm not entirely convinced the second one isn't true. Either way, there's going to be spoilers in this video, so I'm giving you fair warning right now. If you just want a sort of too long didn't watch summary of this entire thing, The Witness is great, The Witness is amazing. If you are looking for a puzzle game, then it's something you should check out. It is the best puzzle game I have played since Antichamber, and it is just a great world to be in. Right, so I'm going to show you it. As I said, fair warning right now, there's going to be spoilers from here on in. I'm going to have a wander around, show you some of the puzzles, and then have a wander around the world. So we need to go up here, and this is what you're going to be staring at for a lot of your time. You're going to be staring at this line puzzle, and the entire game is line puzzles. Although, as I said, it's much more complicated than that, but essentially, you'll be walking around to an area and then doing a line puzzle. You left click, you can click on this start point here, which is like the circle. You click, and then you drag to the end, and then you left click again to cancel it, and then that'll do something. As you see, I've solved that puzzle, and when you solve a puzzle, something happens. In this case, a door has opened up. So we're in a cave, and then we're going to go up to this one. As you can imagine, it's going to be that. Job done. Right, so this is how the game introduces you to different puzzles, and ooh, very, very pretty, very nice. Look at that. That's very colourful. The game is beautiful to look at. It really is. So here's another line puzzle. Again, it looks very, very simple, doesn't it? So we know we need to do this. There you go. You get that. And then this lights that line up. Now, one of the great things about the game, and there's several, is that everything that it's introduced, everything that it puts in front of you is, you know, an opportunity to learn. Like, how does this game work? Well, every time you do something, it'll, you know, introduce the new mechanics very slowly and very simply to you. So it'll go like, bang, you've just done that, and now we learn that when that happens, like, basically when you do a puzzle, something will happen. And one of the things that can happen is this wire can light up. So you immediately go, well, where the hell does that follow? And then you follow it over here. This is like the tutorial guide, and obviously this one's got a wire going in and a wire going out, and you immediately imagine, well, hang on, if I complete this puzzle, does that mean that it's going to light that one up? Well, probably. So let's just follow this puzzle through. Bang. Ah, yes, it does. So again, we've already learned that following this is a good idea. So we're going to go in here, and we're going to do this puzzle again. So start here, and then I have no idea which way this puzzle's supposed to go. Not that way, though. Hang on. You can right-click, and it'll sort of cancel the thing that you're doing. Is it up and around here? I think it is. There we go, and that lights that one up, and then we're going to follow it this way. Hang on, we've just had a little click. What does that mean? Well, we'll go over here, and we see that this one, it's like sort of lit up this area, and this latch is opened up. So can we click on this one? We can, but you can now see that we can't go any further. So again, it's teaching us that we can't actually sort of click and drag and go further with this until we've finished that off. So let's follow these other two lines that aren't lit up, and then we can see what we can do from there. So follow this one round, and obviously you want to stop and look at the scenery. Don't just go from puzzle to puzzle to puzzle, because honestly, later on, you won't be able to do the puzzles, because it does sort of, you know, everything comes together in all of the puzzles. You need to look at the scenery just as much as you need to do the puzzles, because that's often where the solutions are. So anyway, we'll need to go up there and follow that round. So it'll go down there, and then along here, and then in here. Ah, okay. Well, that one isn't lit up, so it might go out there. What I'll do, I'm just going to see if I can do the puzzle, and it'll be up and around. And we can go to either or. Look, we can either go to that one or the bottom one. So if I do that one, it's going to light up whatever's up there. I have no idea what that is, but you know what? I don't really want that one lit up. I want the bottom one lit up. So how do we do that? Well, we can't go that way. Let's follow it back from here. So it'll be along and up, and then around, and then that way, right? So it's up, across there, along there. Don't go into the top one, and then bang. And that should... yeah, it cancels one and does the other one. There you go. So if we run this way, run back, we've now learned that there could be two inputs or two outputs, but we can only have one at the same time. Again, introducing the new mechanics to you very, very simply and very clearly. So we need to follow the other line, which is this one here, and it's going to go to there. Right, so we can start at two locations now, there or there. I reckon it's going to be, well, we'll just try the left. So if it goes up and... actually, it's probably going to be... no. Right, so that way, that way, that way, and then that way, all the way along, and boom. There we go. And then that should have hopefully lit this one up. Right. Don't know, there's a big white beam sticking out the top there. Either way, we want to go like that. And boom, it turns off the grid. Excellent, so we now know the force field's off and we are outside. So let's have a little wander around. So there were the very, very simple puzzles. So what sort of other ones are you going to get? Well, as obviously they're the very, the very first ones. That's a tutorial zone. They're only going to get harder from here on in. So as you can see, for a start, it looks beautiful. Lovely, lovely, lovely. If we go to this bunker here, I've never actually opened this in the real game. By the way, I should have pointed out, I have started a new game just to show you all this. I'm probably about 8 hours in on the real game, and you're probably aware that I am terrible, absolutely terrible at puzzle games, but this is one of the few that I can get into, mainly because it's just a nice world to be in, also because of the way it introduces all the mechanics to you, and that it doesn't ever feel unfair. I've never at one point gone, oh, this is crap, it shouldn't be like that, blah, blah. I've went, ooh, that's really difficult, and I have looked up some solutions to puzzles that I've been stuck on for ages. That's my choice. I've just went, you know what, I'm giving in this one, I'm going to go and get a solution, but that's only progress on the later one, because I just don't want to be staring at this for like 20 hours, because I'm terrible at puzzle games, as I said. So this one here, you're thinking, hang on, well, what's all these lines? Well, we don't know. We don't know what these mean and what that mean there. Well, I know that you need to collect them things, right? So I need to collect all these ones. And I also know that you need to sort of section off these other ones here. But we need to collect all of these as well as section the other ones off. And as you can see, you can't go through yourself. So, you can't backtrack on yourself. So that's going to be quite difficult. As I said, I haven't even got that one open in my main game. So it puts that there for, again, everything. The best way to understand this game, and I cannot stress this enough, is that everything in the game is deliberate. Every rock, every blade of grass, every tree, every freaking cloud, every piece of shadow, everything in the game has a deliberate purpose and a reason for it to be there, right? Even if it is just to, be quite nice. But in the sense of every puzzle that you do, everything is deliberate. If you look at the game that way and think, well, why is that light like that? Well, it could be nothing. It could be nothing. It could be nothing. But if you think I'm stuck on this puzzle, start looking at a blade of grass, a twig on the floor, a piece of dust on a robin's head, anything, because that'll probably be the thing that gets you sorted and gets you through. So here we go, another puzzle. And what we're going to do here? Well, we've got a black dot there and a black dot there. We've seen that previously, so what does that mean? Well, let's just try and go at the end. That doesn't work. And then these flash. Oh, okay, so what if I collect them both? What if I collect one? Ah, it flashes the other one. Right, okay, so we're going to collect that one. And then we go on to the next puzzle. This one, same thing. Collect. Can't do it that way, hang on. That way. Can't do it that way either, so it's going to be that way. Again, another puzzle done. Will it be that way, the back up, that way? You get the idea. We can't go that way, so we need to go... Now we need to start there. There you go. And... that way. No. Collect that, and along. Bang. So what's that done? I actually don't know. But the idea is that you do different puzzles and other areas will open up or other puzzles will light up. So, like, there's a blue one lit up here. And again, this is going to teach you this is going to teach you between, like, hang on, that's a white and black. We've already seen that previously on that bunker. But if we just line that kind of, like, together, we see that completes it. We don't truly understand why until we do the next one. What if I go around? That doesn't work. What if I go around that way? That doesn't work. What if we split them up? That works. Same here. What if I split them up? If I go between the two blacks, that doesn't work because these two are together. What if I split the two colours up? Job done. Same thing here. We're now learning that we need to split these two up. There you go. And like that. As long as you split these two up, you'll be able to do it. And then if I do say that, you can see them two are together. We can't do that. So again, introducing the mechanics very simply. And that is one of its greatest strengths. Oh, I'm going to have to do it this way probably. And that way. And then probably go that way instead. And then that way. And then... No, 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 that's not going to work. What if we do that? And no. So we can't do that, because obviously there's one at the top there. Are we going to have to go up like that? Because you can see all of the white ones are there and all the Black one's either side. Yes, that does it. So now, if we really wanted to, we could run back over here, because we now know what the dots mean and what the different colours mean. And we could try and solve this bunker puzzle that's in here. Yeah, that's going to take forever. That's a job for future me. So, that is a couple of the, let's say, basic puzzles. So it's already introduced 3 new things in the space of, what, 15 minutes, however long this video is? So, it does introduce it quite quick. And obviously, if you blast through the puzzles, then you're going to be learning, and progressing further. This one is, again, another one. We've got an apple on the tree. Why is that? Well, you know what? I'm not going to go into that any much more than that one. So you can see that, you know, there's just different types of puzzles. We're going to go around here. There's more down there. There's like a sort of artworky thing. There's a sawmill. There's a weird sort of obelisk thing there that buzzes when you're near it. And again, there's just so many puzzles in this thing. I really don't know how many hours you could probably put into this. But I've put, say, 8 to 10 hours in the entire game, and it probably would have been another half that again, so probably a total of, you know, maybe even sort of 14, 15 hours if I was just staring at the puzzles that I couldn't do. I generally stare at a puzzle for so long and then go, you know what, I have given up and I can't do it any further. Probably, I think I give every puzzle about half an hour, and if I'm still just staring at it, then I'm just going to leave it. As I said, I'm a bit impatient that way, but the game is not just about the puzzle pieces. It's got, I'm hesitant to say it, but it's got this Myst-like quality. The game Myst, which is obviously ancient and one of the first games I played, or I didn't own it, but I played it on a friend's PC because he got it free with a printer, believe it or not. I think it was a Lexmark of something or other. And I played that and I went, wow, I love the world, the idea of this island that we don't really know what the deal is with it, and it's all mysterious. Even though the puzzles were absolutely garbage in it and totally abstract and just it was horrible to play, it had this sense of mystery, and that's what this place has got. You don't really know what it's about, and it's about exploring and finding out different things, and I really like that. And as I said, I'm happy to accept that it's my choice. I'm going to skip this puzzle for the sake of just going on and just seeing what this island is like. You know, it's my game. I can enjoy it how I want. So, what's this one like? Well, we have another line puzzle. So what do we do here? Well, we start in the center and then we connect it up to there. No, or there, no, or there, no. Well, what do we need to do? Well, this is where the game gets very, very smart. We've got, everything is deliberate, right? So we've got lots of shadows, we've got lots of lines, we've got a bit of sun. If we get that at a certain angle, there, you can see, only just that, it's a little bit darker there, as if it's been rubbed on. So we know that we go from there, and that. And then that activates this one. And then again, we've got a bit of shadow there. So we know that it's going to be there, start in the middle, and then up and across. But we can see that it doesn't go that way. We can see that it doesn't go that way or that way. And we can see that between these two shadows, again, everything is deliberate. All the shadows, everything like that is deliberate. Like that there, you can see that it definitely goes through there. Definitely goes through the bottom bit. We also know that it doesn't go in here. And it doesn't go up to there, so it has to be that. There you go, and again, that activates another one. And this is what you'll be doing. This one, a little bit different. We can see that it starts at the top and ends at the bottom. So it could simply be an all the way around it. It could just be that. But it isn't. And by the way, if you want to say, can you brute force attack it? No, because of what I've just shown you. When you do a puzzle, it will cancel it. Certain puzzles, not all of them, it'll cancel it and say, no, you failed that. You're going to have to redo this first one to light it up. Now, originally, I didn't like that because it meant that, you know, I don't like, because I'm going to have to go back and redo that one. But then I understand the reason for it, because if I could just brute force this, if I could just go, you know, ba-ba-ba-ba-bam, no, ba-ba-ba-ba-bam, no, and just sort of do it that way, it sort of spoils the game, it really does. This one, at the back, I want to say that way, and what that's going to do is move it over, and as you'll see, the now shadows are on this side, and it's about remembering that side. Again, all the puzzles are, you know, they're getting more complex as we progress on, and as I said, everything's got a reason, and prime example of it, right? You can see that there's a line up there, and we can only see it through this plank, right? We can only see it through that one plank. Again, even the placement of a plank across a board is deliberate. There's loads more stuff to see. There's reflections. There's You have to do puzzles reflections off water. You have to do ones that are mirrored where you can't see the other line that you're making. You have to do ones that's based on the noise, like the noise that you make when you're walking. And there's so much stuff in it. There's so much here. And, I mean, we've only travelled from the little start zone there, and we've already got, like, a nice quarry type thing. There's a town over there. There's a big, sort of... looks like a hand sticking out of a mountain, and there's something on the top of the mountain, which I won't really go into. And there's a forest over there, and there's like a... There's so much. The Witness has got so much in it, and it's so well done that it really deserves your attention, even if you're not a big fan of puzzle games. And I have a love-hate relationship with puzzle games. Like I said, this is the best puzzle game I've played since probably Antichamber. Antichamber was the puzzle that I played a couple of years ago now, probably even 2 or 3 years ago, Antichamber. And I played it and went, wow, it's so smart. And that's what this game is. It's so smart and so refined that... I think that even if you have an inkling that I might give that a go, then it's probably going to be something that you are going to enjoy. As I said, if you're not a fan of puzzle games at all, then you're not going to like it. If you don't like the idea of having to think your way through stuff then, and you're just going to, sack it, I'll just brute force my way through it and just look for guides, then you're totally missing the point of the game. I've gone for a middle ground where I'm happy to just keep playing and enjoying it. And as soon as I get to a point where I'm genuinely, truly stuck for a while, I just go, you know what? I give in, They give in, that's not for me, skip it, continue on. It's, up to you how you play it, but, yeah. It's something quite special, The Witness, and I think from the bits I've played, as I said, about 10 hours or so, it's only going to get better. I can't see it being flawed, at any particular stage. There you go, links in the description so you can check it out yourself, and, I'll just leave you with that little reflection there, which is pretty cool. Like I said, everything has a purpose in the game. Everything is deliberate. Think of that when you're playing it, you'll probably do quite well. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.